Hey everyone! 5th graders are going to be using the liquid watercolors today, so I thought I'd make a little video demonstrating what we're going to do. I have my table set up with my water cup and my towel like normal. The things that are different are the paints are in this blue tray, and I've also gotten a little container of salt, and your table captain will be in charge of getting this at your table. You'll also have brushes, which I'll get mine in a moment, but I wanted to show you the kind of paint that we're using. We're using Dr. Martin's Hydrus Fine Art Watercolor paints. This is like a regular watercolor that you'd use from Crayola, but it's already melted down. So I used some recycled cups. It comes in this eyedropper. And to create them, I just put in a couple drops, and it's so powerful that you need to dilute it with some water. So I actually just opened up these squirt bottles, excuse me, and just pour it a little bit in. Before you got here, I also used a spare brush and I mixed them all up together, but I can just show you with mine. Of course, you'll set these things up at your table normally, and each person will have at least one job or two. You'll keep it in the middle so that everybody can reach, but for the purposes of this video, we'll slide it sideways. Now, I didn't have an example for you, but I will just grab a blank piece of paper and a brush. Of course, on your paper, you have all of the leaves with the oil pastel that you finished last week, and you used the warm colors. We've been talking about color theory and how you can divide the color wheel up. We're using the opposite for this so that we can create contrast. So it's hard to tell, but I have violet/purple, green, and blue. These are the cool colors. You're gonna paint these in between your leaves. They're already melted down, but who knows who used your paintbrush last, so I'm still going to start by giving it a little swish and a little wipe to get the extra off, and then I can just dip right in and it picks up instantly in my brush. At the same time, I'm going to get a pinch of the salt. Now you don't want to try to go fast. What you want to do is you want to create this big puddle, and then you want to sprinkle your salt immediately. You can think of the salt like a mini sponge soaking up that color that was in the cup, and it's going to leave behind a texture. If I'm using the same color, I can just do the same thing. Create another little puddle about that big and sprinkle my salt in. You really don't need a lot. It's just a tiny little bit of salt that will absorb it in. Now, if you're painting like this and try to get a huge space done, then when you sprinkle that salt, it's really not going to do too much. But of course, the magic will be blending. You can do all blue if you want. It looks fantastic. You can do all green or all purple, but most of us are going to want to mix. And they'll mix automatically if they're overlapping, but you just want to continue with that technique. Make a puddle and then sprinkle it with salt. Yes, the salt will probably get all over our desk, but we can always clean it later. It's hard to show you what's happening in this video, but once it dries and you come back, you'll be able to see this texture and the effect that the salt has had. For now, we're just going to work on trying to get everything done in one day, but if we need to finish next week, we can add one more day to our schedule. I'm going to speed through the rest of the video and I'll check in with you at the end. This is one a student made earlier in the day, and you can probably see that the salt is still stuck onto the paper, although it's been drying in the drying rack. So when it's dry, it does fade right off, although you can leave it on. And if you zoom in, you can see that sparkly texture that the salt created by absorbing a little bit of the pigment from where it landed. You can absolutely try this at home. You don't even need these liquid watercolors, but they certainly make it a lot easier. Any brand will do, but this is what we're using at Dickinson East. Thanks for watching.